what are we looking at right here? What's happening right now?
All right, basically what we're looking at right now is my neighborhood. This is where we grew up at. I was born and raised here since the 1950s, and this is where we grew up as teenagers. Webster Street, right down here is where we started at. This is where we grew up at. This is where we cut our teeth. We played marbles and all kind of kid games. And then when it came to time for us to become adults, this is where the men grew up at. They say you're a man when you turn 16. Now it's equality. And we were young men. We were very courageous. We were very well-read young men. And myself, Kaheem, Jamel, and another brother by the name of Greg Jackson, we had a moment. We had a moment, and that moment bonded us. January 31st, 1970. Fast forward 2 months later, our bond grew stronger as ever. You have to understand, I was 16 years old, Jamel was 16, we were in high school, Kaheem was 17. We were high school students, very good students, trying to graduate. And we looked up and June was upon us. And I graduated, and my mom tells a beautiful story how my aunt and my mom tell the story how I just handed them the diploma and said, this is what you wanted. And I went on my way, but it wasn't that dramatic. I did hand them the diploma. However, I was grateful for my parents, grateful for them showing me the way for them 12 years of school, and grateful for getting out of high school. It was one of them moments, and I tell people all the time, it's something that you never have to do again. Once you get your diploma, you might have to do a lot. You might get married 3 or 4 times. You might have a lot of different things, but that is one thing that you never have to do again. Get that part of your life over with. Get your diploma and get it over with.
You said that at that time period, you still were angry though.
Not angry, but we now it's subside. The anger subsided. Now the people.
Well, after the event that took place.
Yeah, the anger was always predicated by righteousness and being right and doing something for the community. It was never just unbridled anger. It was anger because we were young men in this here North America situation, and we seen everything around us going to shit in the hat basket. And as a result of that, everybody was angry. It was just that we chose to take our anger and study more. Some people chose their anger and became drug addicts. It was a whole bunch of things going on in America at that time, and they made sure they needed to be able to quell this anger. And that's what the FBI and all these other people was in charge of. Quell the anger. Quell the anger of Black America. That was their job. Through drugs, government jobs, as some of the comedians say. They gave them government jobs. That's what happened. And of course, the heroin epidemic that was raging the whole country. However, we had something else to do. We did not know what that was. But I remember the day when Jamel knocked on my door. I had just got my diploma. About a day later, Jamel knocked on my door. Boom, boom, boom. And said, Ramel, we got a place in Houghton Village. My teacher is subletting the house. Would you like to go? I'm like, bet.
This is getting out of your mother's house, right?
Now, the story gets thicker. You know how your mom was always, you got to go, you got to go. So now I said, Mom, I'm leaving for the summer. You too young to go. So now the pullback, you too young to go. I said, Mom, I'm going. So she called my dad to try to talk me out of going. This was a big deal. My mom just, as much as mothers, you know, that was just another form of protection that moms do. Go when you're doing bad, but when you decide to go, are you ready to go? Which is a good question for a lot of 16-year-olds. Right. Remember, I was only 16. I had just turned 17 that May. So now I'm a 17-year-old. Not that that makes a whole lot of difference. Peace. Not that that makes a whole lot of difference, but now I'm 17 years old, and she did not want me to go. So she sent my dad up to Fountain Village on our first days in Fountain Village. And I'm going to show you some, I'll take you up that way too after we leave Kahim. Okay. I'm going to show you exactly where the house was. And my dad went up there, tried to talk me down, and my dad just returned to the Essence about over a year ago. And one of the statements he profoundly remembers, he said, Ramel, when I came up there to try to talk you out of this is what you said. He said that I said, what makes you think a year I'm gonna be much more better? And he never forgot that. So I said, all right, Pop, I need $200 because this is when you can actually buy a job. You can go down to temporary and get some money, and you can put up money and actually get a job. It was way back in the day. They had temporary job services where if you paid a fee, you became put on their list, and they found you a job for the most part. But that really wasn't what I wanted to do. I just needed $200 for my pocket, and he gave me $200. But there was something else more in store, and we still did not know what that was. Now we in Fountain Village. We done left South Philly. We in Fountain Village. Kahim comes up. Now the three of us are in Fountain Village, and no moms, no restrictions, no rules. However, we was already embedded with rules and regulations before we got there. So living righteously was not a hard thing to do.
And this is before you get now. This is
before we met him, right?
Right before.
See, so what we had to do first, we had to clean up the house and make the house ours. Beautiful white guy by the name of John. He had 3 housemates, John, Ken, and I forget the female's name. And they lived at 3321 Hamilton Street. I'm going to take you up there. And you might want to go up there before we go with the rest of this story.
Okay, all right.
I like this synth, Mega. Do it again.
To see the entire complete film that these segmented clips come from, join 7 On Demand. Add on with me as we take our media to the next level.